I know, and the one thing that I'm so grateful for have been able to spend time with Michael is how great he was at bringing people together, from all over, different walks of life, different, perspectives and career paths and things like that. I have to, mention, since we have Richard Wolff on the, on the panel today, I remember I believe when y'all met for the first time was at a Jordan Peterson conference, and I won't spoil the story, but it was very funny because I remember getting text messages all night long. For a long time on the show on TMBS, I've been doing an economic segment, and Michael was always joking that I was coming for Richard Wolff's crown, and everyone got a big kick out of that. But I guess when he met Richard Wolff for the first time at, I believe, a Jordan Peterson conference,
Boise.
he was texting me. He's like, he told Richard about it, and that, Richard not only was a really smart guy, but a funny guy, which, if you know anything about Michael, means that he really, really likes you. And I'm so grateful that you're here too with us today, Richard. I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to share in Michael's memory.
Yeah, a couple of things. That's right. I think it is the first time I met him was at the Jordan Peterson conference. And the whole thing was funny. And he enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it for the humor. So let me tell you briefly about it, because it's a way of my linking to him and you to both of us. The conference took place at Boise State University in Boise, Montana, a place I had never heard of, basically, other than vaguely in a geography lesson. Nice place to go. And I had been called up and told by the local organizers, students and faculty, that they had decided to have a conference on the work of Jordan Peterson, but that since Jordan Peterson had apparently repeatedly said how no, quote, I quote, is what they told me, no Marxist would dare to debate me, he said. And so they knew who they were talking to, so they told me that. So I said, okay, you got me, I'll do it, because I'm not going to let that go, if I don't have to. So I agreed I would debate him. A week or two later, they called me back. This was quite a while before the conference. They call me back and they tell me the following. They informed Jordan Peterson that he would be the subject of their conference, and that part of it would be a debate over the relevance of Marxism between him and me. I had, meantime, I hate to admit this, but it's the truth. When they first called me and said there'd be a conference about Jordan Peterson, my response was, who? Because I had no idea who he was. Had not crossed my radar. So I did my, the usual Google search, and I quickly discovered him, and I saw the comments on Marxism, and then I realized this debate would be kind of easy because clearly he really, all due respect, he didn't know anything about it. He dismissed it and had, conventional tropes of dismissal that he had inherited, and he repeated those. But you could tell in 2 seconds that he wasn't very familiar with this. Obviously, hadn't spent much time learning it. So this would be easy. They called me up and told me that Jordan Peterson had withdrawn, would not come to the conference, and would not debate me, but didn't say that. This is them. Instead, he raised his fee from what they told me, from $5,000 to $50,000. This made me upset on 2 grounds. One, I wasn't getting anywhere near the lower number, let alone the higher one. And obviously, anything called Boise State could not come up with that kind of money this is nutty, right? This is crap. So he was out. And they said to me, we would like you to come anyway, and we will put on the platform 2 chairs. One you will occupy, and one will sit there empty, which is what they did. And so, when you have a debate like that, it's obviously not a debate. And so I had good time. I made fun of the fellow as best I could. I tried to be reasonably polite, although with a guy like that, that's not so easy. But in any case, I tried. And one of the people who enjoyed the humor And I began noticing him because every time I tried to do something I thought was funny, he laughed. That's what a comedic hope is, right? You find out one person and then you address him or her with what your hopes are. And he came up and we got to know each other, and I've been on the program ever since, fairly often. And the other two things, very quickly, he and I would meet in a coffee shop right off the Union Square in Manhattan. He would meet me there, same one. He loved it. He liked the place. It was very nice, very pleasant one. And every time I met him, he didn't have it written down, but he had a head full of plans, full of collaborations. It was amazing. I mean, the guy, you had the feeling he lived it and he slept it, and it was forever in his brain, figuring out how we on the left, being few, could get together, help each other, and build this thing. And I appreciate that. I love that kind of mentality. His was very fertile. It was pleasure working with him because he had literally a bunch of new plans and ideas all the time, every time I met him. And the last thing is, coming out of the Marxian tradition, which is where I come from and which I'm proud to be part of, you're supposed to be, and I've tried to be, internationalist, to view yourself as a citizen of the world. And I try. But I know that my work has been lax in that regard, that my stuff tends more to be U.S. focused and not very well internet. And he was excellent on that. He would give me suggestions. He would give me advice. His programs, those that I have ever seen, were very careful to include international things. I thought that was very effective and very creative. And I looked to him to give me advice, which he did, how to make my programs a bit more like that, because I think I was deficient and he had done that better. So those are the things I remember beyond what all of you have said, that he was fun to be with and had a great sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly right. And I know he'd really appreciate that. And I have to also say, as somebody who is a regular recipient of texts at 2 a.m, it is true that his brain was always on and he was always gaming things out.